Welcome to Larry's Library. This week, I'm looking at The Art of Rick and Morty, Volumes 1 and 2. This is by Darkhorse Books. Volume 1 is 224 pages. Volume 2 is 216. Both of these books have MSRPs of $39.99. But you can't get both of them at InStockTrades.com as of the time of this shooting for about $23.19 each. Plus or minus 2% if you don't have the loyalty discount enabled or achieved at that point. I should mention here that there are, apparently, at least for Volume 2, there is a super deluxe edition that I was unaware of. I think it came out much later than I got these volumes. And it has a really fancy slipcase. I think it has gilded page edges, and it has some other extras in it. And while I'm a little bit annoyed, oddly enough, I'm not super annoyed with this, because to me, it was a missed opportunity. I'm not sure why in the deluxe edition they didn't put both books in there, Volume 1 and 2, in a nice slipcase. If they had done that, I would be very, very annoyed at this point, having got the ones that weren't given that treatment. But as it is, I'm really good with the copies I got. I like them a lot, and I recommend them. The creators on this, these are written by, Volume 1 is written by James Siciliano. I think that's right. While Volume 2 is written by Jeremy Guilford. Now, I would, if this was a comic book, I would give you the artist, but it's not a comic book. These are art books. This is by, like I said, by Darkhorse Books. They put out a lot of art books, and in this B-roll that I'm running, you can see that the trim size on this is a little odd because it matches Darkhorse art books, all their previous art books. Well, I'll show it here against, in the B-roll, if you look, I show it next to the Art of Doom Eternal, and you can see it's the exact same size. While if you compare it to the Darkhorse, or actually IDW, the IDW Rick and Morty comic collections in hardcover, it's the same height, but it's wider this way. So it's kind of interesting. They still look great together on the shelf because they are the same height, but as I said, different widths this direction. But yeah, either way, the build quality on these, like all Darkhorse hardcovers that I've had, is just great. Really good stuff. Darkhorse puts out some of the best hardcovers out there, in my opinion. And not just mine. Yeah. Anyway, Volume 1 covers Seasons 1 and 2, while Volume 2 covers Seasons 3 and 4. Now, these books give you a deep dive into the animation and the art from the series. So if you're a fan of the Rick and Morty cartoon, then you'll probably want to pick these up if you like poring over the great art. And it goes into quite a bit of depth on the character designs, the environment designs, the prop designs, the buildings, architecture, vehicles. It goes through all of it. So I found it fascinating, and I just love seeing it. I mean, it shows the original just rough drawing sketches that like Justin Roiland done, and then he hands it off to an art department. And, up to the time he was fired, I think he had final say on all of this. And this brings up a really tough question. That whole thing is, what do you do when you're a fan of a creator's work, and then it's revealed that this creator is not exactly a good person? In fact, done some horrible things, terrible things. Do you just stop enjoying the previous work? And I wish I had a good answer for you, but I don't. But what I can tell you that I've learned, I mean, I already kind of knew, but I really learned from reading these two books, is that this thing is not a one-man show. I mean, Justin Roiland may have been the creator, and he voiced Rick and Morty and a few other characters, and he did original designs for most of them. This was not a Justin Roiland one-show type of deal. There's too much going on in this series. There is a whole staff of artists. I don't know how many, a lot. I can put up a graphic here and maybe give you an idea how many, but it's a lot. So if you love Rick and Morty, I think it's okay to still love Rick and Morty, even though Justin Roiland turned out to be a terrible person. And I can still enjoy it despite what Justin Roiland was doing in his real human world. The world we live in. Pretty bad. But I understand Cartoon Network has fired him, and they're going to replace him. There's a lot of talented voice actors out there. Will the show be as good without Justin? I'm not sure, but I'll be there to see it, and I'll let you know in a subsequent video maybe how that panned out. Dan Harmon, his co-creator and partner on this, is going to stay on. From what I understand, he's going to become the main showrunner. So we'll see how that shakes out. But these books are fascinating, and they're beautiful, and they go into some detail. And in most cases, they tell the voice actor that played the character when they're going through the character designs. But you can see in these scans, which I'm not going to try to put art credits on these because there's too many, and often I don't know which person worked on which item. So like I said, I'll show the graphic with the whole crew, but otherwise, I'll just let you take a look at these sample pages and the beautiful art that became the show Rick and Morty. So for me, these are 10 out of 10. I wouldn't change a thing. They're great quality, and a really, really fun read. The second volume is narrated by Mr. Poopy Butthole. Yeah. But the first one is done in a more straightforward fashion. But the second one is, all the narration is Poopy Butthole. So if you know who that is, well, probably wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't know who Poopy Butthole was. But that's all I got this week. Subscribe if you haven't already. Bell notify yourself so you don't miss out. And I will see you in the next one.